Hi, I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, the Lunar Festival began, and there is a new customization available for your winding Slitherdrake. It looks like this, and you can purchase it directly off of a vendor, which is the good news, for 50k gold, which is the less good news. This is available as long as the Lunar Festival is active, which is until February the 17th, and this is also a good opportunity to check on your collections to see if you are missing any Lunar Festival toys, cosmetics, other collectibles, pets that you might be missing that you also want. Speaking of holidays, Love is in the Air is also live, bringing with it an update. It's been refreshed with a new questline and a number of new rewards to collect. So there is one new thing to get from the Crown Chemical Daily, the daily holiday boss that you can queue up for. It is armor for your renewed Proto-Drake that looks like this, and like with the other holiday Drake armors, you have an improved chance from your first daily dungeon, and then an existing but not as big chance from all of your subsequent runs for the day. We also have other new items available for sale from the holiday vendors for Love tokens. These are not all off the exact same vendor, but all of the vendors are present in the new Love is in the Air Gala area outside of Stormwind and Orgrimmar. There is one Heartseeker Mana Ray mount that is brand new this year for 270 tokens. It looks like this. There's one Heartseeker Moth pet that you can get for 40 tokens. There is a toy you can get for 40 tokens that turns any player that is not within your group into a little heart instead of into whatever it was that they looked like. There is a toy for 100 tokens that can show different atmosphere effects around it, such as a sunset, and a toy for 270 tokens that summons a love boat. We also have 6 brand new cosmetic rose transmogs in a variety of colors. The way I went about getting all of these things for myself is to take 4 characters and do the new quest line, because that's 140 tokens each, and you can kind of spread that around to the different things. And on 2 of those characters, I saved those 140 tokens and then continued to do dailies towards that 270 token total that you need for the Heartseeker Mana Ray and the Love Boat toy. The other 2 characters bought the rest of the stuff. You can no longer do charm bracelet farming. There is no longer an unlimited source of love tokens. You can get a couple of extra tokens a day if you want to do a daily that involves donating 10k gold to the Artisans Guild. But there is no longer a spammable infinite method of generating love tokens, so dailies are the only way to go. Speaking of that gold donation daily, there is a new achievement called Support Your Local Artisans that requires you to do that daily 5 times, effectively spend a total of 50k gold to get 10 achievement points. This is not required for the meta achievement or any other cosmetics. It's just for the achievement points and I suppose for the strange flex. Originally, it required 70k gold and 7 days worth of dailies to do, but that was hotfixed down before anybody could actually get to that point. In other news for this week, 10.2.6 remains a mystery. This is kind of anti-news. Blizzard put out a post recently talking about what's in the pipeline for WoW, and on the topic of 10.2.6, they are planning to not tell us what they're planning. There's going to be no PTR, and they have nothing to share about the new patch except that it is coming at some point in March. When it does go up, a PTR will then drop to start testing the content for Season 4. I think that's fun, and I'm interested to see how it turns out. I am personally more inclined to wait and see than to speculate, because perhaps my imagination is just getting tired. I've heard some incredible theories and just like wacky ideas about what 10.2.6 could be. And at this point, I'm almost a little bit worried that our imaginations are much better than anything that Blizzard could realistically put together and come out with for a 0.6 patch. So I really hope that they have something that's really unique and different and fun coming, because if it's like, you know, a reputation that has some cosmetics, it's going to feel like a little bit of a letdown when we've had this much time to let our imaginations run wild. In any case, March is only a month away, and we will get there when we get there. In War Within news this week, Blizzard revealed a couple more hero talent trees. They put out a blog post to give some background on what hero talents are and what they're intended to do, and showed off 1 tree each for Hunter, Mage, and Priest. Bear in mind, each class is going to have access to a couple of these trees depending on how many specs they have, and each spec will get a choice between 1 of 2 trees. So if you play one of these specs and you don't like the tree that's shown, there will be another hero talent tree that you might choose instead. Having said that, they talked about how hero talent trees are just basically more talents with a theme, and each talent tree, you're going to have it fully filled out by the time you reach level 80, but there are still a couple of these choice nodes in it where you're going to pick 1 of 2 talents. So expect to get the whole tree filled out by the time you hit endgame, but you will still be able to customize it a little bit via A, which of your 2 hero talent trees you're going to go into, and secondly, which of those choice point nodes that you are picking. They talk about wanting to make sure that both of the tree options that you have available to your spec are pretty closely balanced for most types of content, which sounds like a very big ask, but good luck. I hope you do it. As a priest main, the one that I want to look at more closely is the priest tree, because that's the only thing that I have any qualification to talk about, and they showed off the oracle tree, which is interesting. They've leaned on this evolved PI mechanic called premonition that basically replaces your PI with something that has half the cooldown, kind of a lesser effect, and then you customize the effect. So instead of a flat haste buff, it can grant either healing received, magic damage done, or physical damage done, and a lot of the other talents in this tree are all going to expand on premonition. In an interview, they mentioned that the way that you choose which buff you're going to get with your premonition is that you press it once and it's going to start cycling between the 3 buffs, and then you press it again when it's on the right one to lock it in. Now, for background, I am somebody that likes PI as it is right now. I don't feel that it makes me entirely into a support class. I am not too fussed personally on whether or not there's like attributable log hooks to bring that damage back to me in details or anything like that. I just like the feeling of pressing a button, I go fast, person of my choice goes fast. I think it makes for some fun politics. I think it makes for some fun moments in raid. It's a fun button to press, and I currently like it, particularly in this version where we have that Twins of the Sun Priestess, so we get PI when we give it out, and it's not like a you or me situation. Now, this version of it, to me, as somebody that likes PI, sounds like a massive headache. Micromanaging a shorter cooldown and less impactful version of PI via like a stop the roulette wheel kind of buff, which if it's fast is going to be hard, and if it's slow is going to be boring and take too long. Sounds like the worst thing ever, but maybe I'm misunderstanding because it's early, and maybe this just isn't the hero talent tree for me, and I'm going to be more of like an Archon Holy Priest. Let's hope that they get something that doesn't sound this annoying. They're also gathering feedback to work on stuff like this, so this may not be the final version that goes into the game. There are forum threads for feedback on all of these hero talent trees, so if you play these classes, I would take a look at the trees, figure out your feelings, don't feel like you have to copy somebody else's, but figure out how they make you feel, and then share that feedback in the threads if it's something that is important to you. And then as far as what I've been up to this week, in gaming, I have been enjoying some Pal World. I got my hands on some online breeding calculators and have been just doing mad pal alchemy to basically breed not every pal in the game, but every pal in the game that my existing pals have access to make. Your bloodlines can quite quickly get out of hand as you try to figure out how to get like a serious artisan of one pal into another pal that's like 7 stages removed in genealogy. It's very fun, and it is much easier if you have a notebook handy. Otherwise, you will hatch an egg and realize you have no idea whose great-grandfather this was supposed to be. And then questions from this week. Sabotka asks, as someone who loves the trading post but can never have enough tender on hand to get the things I want, do you think Blizzard would make it so we can actually earn tender in game in the future, such as quest rewards, dailies, raid loot rewards? I hate having to pick and choose between items and then waiting X amount of time for things that I missed to come back around. So I would say that as it currently stands, you do earn tender in game for doing all of those things. It's just that the amount of tender that you earned is capped. And I think that that's kind of like a key tenet of the system. I think that it is Blizzard's intention currently, for better or for worse, that you cannot buy everything, or even most of it, that you are really selective about the things that you get out of it. The best thing that I could see them maybe doing is raising the base amount of tender that you earn every month, but I feel like they are more likely to leave that alone and then just do these like promotional celebrations where they say, hey, you can earn X amount more tender this month because we're great, woohoo! You know, it is a tough system for completionists, especially if they like continue to keep their foot on the gas in terms of generating new things for the trading post every month. Because if they eventually like kind of get lazy on that, then eventually enough things will come back around that you will already have some amount of the stuff there. So you will have a smaller pool to shop from. But so far it feels like the returning things haven't really been edging out very many new things, and that it's like you can't really get very much of it. So I wouldn't get my hopes up, but also bear in mind, I don't know anything, and they've been known to change their minds before, so who knows. And then Linda on the road asks, what do you think are the best professions for a fresh 70 this late in the expansion? If it was me, herbing and mining. And it's not that you're going to make life-changing amounts of gold with those, but it's that you're not going to sink a ton of gold into those. Like, you could spend some amount of gold getting your profession equipment in good shape, but aside from that, it's not going to take the same kind of investment that a different profession would take. And I can't really justify recommending investing in setting up a crafting profession this late in the expansion when it's going to be like a real struggle to get even remotely caught up on knowledge points. You would most likely only be able to cap out like a couple of things to craft. It just seems not worth it. So I would say double gathering, go herb and mine your heart out. It's not going to be as good as it has been in different cycles of the game, but you should still be able to do reasonably well, especially once Season 4 comes out and people are looking for raid consumables again. And that's been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a question for the news video, please leave it in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.